shows we're live.
What's up, Slay Nation? It's Justin Query, Director of Slay Nation Upstate New York, with my co-director, Josh Fusen. How's it going tonight, Josh?
What's going on, guys?
Oh, man, I'm exhausted. It's a long week of work. Just took a nice nap, and now I'm getting ready to take off for Texas on Sunday, so I figured it's now or never to get on here and talk to the guys about Cayuga and cover a couple things that they might not know. They might already know. Bailey did a great video with AJ from Hobie BOS the other day. We shared that on our page, so that was pretty cool. We talked about some of the changing conditions of the lake and what the fish might be doing, the weather kind of thing. So it was pretty cool to listen to Bailey talk to him about that. But because we have our own event that day, I figured me and you come over here and cover some of the rules, and a lot of our guys that are going to fish the Hobie is probably their first Hobie event. So I figured I've done a couple Hobie events. I can give a little bit of my experience, not so much the fish catching part, but the just being part of a Hobie event. Pretty awesome experience. So, all right, man, let's cover this quick. Let's first we do have our event going on. If you haven't signed up, try to get signed up as soon as you can. We're trying to plan out numbers for this one. It's a little bit different with the Hobie going on. Right now we got 14 guys signed up. It's wicked early, but 14 signed up. We got guys from Pennsylvania and New York signed up right now. Actually, probably more PA guys than New York, if I had to guess. But 4 teams signed up. I'm sure that would climb to 8 or 10 teams, if not more. But this could be one where we get 40, 50 people with the Hobie showing up. So I tried to reach out to Hobie, but I'm sure they're busy. Hopefully we can get people to, if you have people that are fishing this with you, the Hobie, and they don't know about Slay Nation, send them the link to our registration, talk to them about that. I mean, it's a good way to go back there. You could do well in our event, just win a big bass, right? Josh, what's a big bass going to go for Cayuga if we get 40 guys? You know?
If we get 40, hold on, I can look it up.
And probably at least $300-400, I would say. But
if we get 40 guys, big bass would go for 200, and that's all members. If we have non-members mixed in there, that raises the pot a little bit because of that $5 extra.
Yeah, so it's like $275 or $300 to get into the Hobie event. So I mean, just by jumping into our event for the $60 entry fee, you could, possibly have a chance of getting at least most of your entry fee back. So good opportunity to double dip. So let's cover some of the rules, Josh, just so that people know the difference. If anybody didn't notice, the start times to the tournament did change over this last week. Hobie had theirs listed as 4:30 start, 5 o'clock first launch. So I did adjust ours to that. Now they moved back to the 5 a.m. first launch, 5:30 first cast. So we are switching back as well. Whatever they go with for hours, we are going with for hours. So right now, I don't expect that to change now that it's set. So just expect that. It wasn't the same as our last tournament. 2 tournaments, 5 a.m. first launch, 5:30 first cast. We did 5:30.
No, we did 5:30 launch, 6 o'clock cast.
So this is a little bit earlier. So
I'll answer that in a minute, Michael.
That just make sure you got to have your emergency lights. Now, that's kind of the biggest thing with this one is with being 30 minutes earlier, we're definitely going to be on the water for maybe half hour, 45 minutes of darkness. With all the guys from Hobie being there, got to make sure you have your 360 lights. It's mandatory for them. It's mandatory for us. So make sure you have your 360 lights going for this one. But all the start times are the same. All the end times are the same. Last submission and lines out are the same time on this one. So there is no service issues on this lake anywhere. I know, Chris. I'm going to say it's the beers, Josh.
Yeah.
So there's such good service on this lake. I mean, half of this lake, if not more, you get 5G, I think. So there's no reason to have to wait on submitting fish. So line's out at 2 o'clock. Last mission's right at 2 o'clock as well. So that makes it a little tricky though, don't you? If you catch one at 159,
What's that?
like if you catch one at 159, that's kind of shitty that you might not have time to submit it.
I mean, if you catch one at 159, you better be quick on taking a photo.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what it is. We're going with Hobie rules, so I personally would throw an extra 30 minutes on the end. I'll double check on that, but as of right now, we got to go with whatever Hobie's doing just to make it even on both sides. Because they also use turning X, so it'll make it a little bit easier.
I mean, with ours, lines out time is usually the last time stamp on the picture too. You just have 30 minutes to submit it. So if you're fast enough to get it taken in that time, you should be able to submit it in that time too, especially if you're taking the picture right in the Turning X app itself.
That's what I would say. If you're that close to two that you're catching one like at 159, you might want to just take that picture right inside the app, quick, and get it over with. As long as you take the picture in the phone or in the app, you can submit it directly to the leaderboard, and it could be done in what 15 seconds, Josh.
Oh yeah. For anybody that doesn't know, the update that Dwayne did with the app, when you're taking the picture, there's actually a button right at the bottom right hand corner. After you take the picture, you can click that and instantly go right into submissions. You don't even have to back out and hit the submit a fish button. You can do it all from right there. It makes it quick. It makes it easy. And if you have a phone like mine that for some reason, if you take a picture with the camera, it still doesn't want to show your location, the Turning X app will bypass that if you're taking the picture with the app and make sure the location is showing up.
Yeah, that's actually a big tip. So I didn't even know part of that. So
I talked to Dwayne personally on the phone because I was trying to figure out mine. Great customer support. That's why we stick with Turning X. I was trying to figure out the location thing. I submitted an email to him, and he called me within like an hour and worked through some stuff with me, and that's what we figured out. Unfortunately, some of the Android phones, they just don't want to pair well with the location when it comes to the camera.
yeah, that's a good tip. So anybody in the Hobie event might be able to use that tip. So faster way to submit your fish and make sure you don't have any issues with location services. So all right. So we got our times all figured out for the tournament. Launches are definitely different for this one. So if you are in the Hobie event, you have to go by the Hobie rules, of course. And the Hobie rules, they have a sent launch list. You can only go by those launches. And some of the launches that we commonly see used in our tournament will not be able to be used, such as Harris Park.
The one right off the road.
Yeah, on the other side of the lake, there's one by the side of the road. That's not able to be used. There's probably one or two down south that I don't know about, but make sure that if you're in the Hobie event, you have to go to the launch list and make sure that your launch is on that.
For those people that don't know where that is, Justin, where do you find that at?
The launch list?
Yeah.
It's right on Turning X. It's got a link to it. So basically, AJ McCorder set up a Google map, and it's got all the launches on the Google map. Those are the only ones you can use. And it's pretty obvious the way he marked them. He did a pretty good job marking it on Google Maps. So if you're in a Hobie event and you're in our event, still got to go by that launch list. So just because we don't DQ you for something doesn't mean they won't, because they will. That's part of the checking in. They'll know what launch you're at. Just it's going to make things a little bit more congested because there's not a lot of launches on this lake, to be honest. It's either the north end or the south end. There's not a lot in between. There's going to be some traffic at the launches. Get there a little bit early for this tournament. Make sure you be a good sportsman too and represent New York and Slay Nation, right? Because I've been there, Susquehanna, I think, a couple years ago when there was probably 35 guys at the launch in the morning, and it got pretty feisty between a few people because of that. So just be mindful of each other and people. There's gonna be people from all over the country coming up here. They don't know the launches like we do. They don't know the lake like we do. So just give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Give yourself some more time with all that. So make sure you know the launches. That's very important that you know the launches.
With that being said, though, if you are not fishing the Hobie, if you are just fishing Slay Nation's event, if it's still our same launches, you can use any public launch on that water, as long as, even if it's a paid launch, as long as anybody can go there and use that launch, it is fair game.
Yep. Yeah. So like Wolfie's and Harris Park,
Fair game.
that's fair game if you're only doing the Slam Nation tournament. So, and the reason we decided to make it that way is just to help alleviate some of that congestion at the launches with all the Hobie anglers. So, just trying to get them as much space as we can, and we're gonna allow you guys to do that. So,
I know I was going to use one launch, and I saw it on the Hobie list, and now I've kind of changed my plans around a little bit, just because I don't want to deal with 30, 40 guys first thing in the morning when I'm trying to launch.
yeah. And I mean, I think they're up to right around 100. I think they actually surpassed 100 now. So they got quite a bit of anglers coming. So just expect the traffic on the water and at the ramp. This isn't a normal tournament. Even when we do Civil War, we had 50 guys at most. There's at least 100 people coming to this, if not 120, 130 people. So just be mindful of that. Be respectful of each other, and expect that. Plan for the time that you need to get on the water.
Now, do we know yet if there's going to be any bass tournaments that day for boats?
I'm not sure. There might be something going on. There's no major tournaments going on, so if there is, it's going to be a small boat tournament. So nothing to
I
worry
know
about.
Civil War last year, there was a lot of boats at Union Springs because there was a bass tourney that day too.
Oh, I heard them take off. I remember that. Yeah. So I don't think we have to worry about that. But so official practice does start tomorrow morning. So for Hobie. So if you are in the Hobie and you fished today or at all this week, you definitely are in violation, and you need to deal with that. So hopefully you did not fish. Official practice period starts tomorrow, and you can fish all the way through Friday. I think theirs starts at and there's pre-fishing does end at 4 p.m. for Hobie, so ours does end at 4 p.m. as well on Friday. So make sure you are not just done fishing, but you have to be completely off the water at 4 p.m. on Friday. And that'll also help you get to the Hobie BOS check-in, because if you're in that, you have to go to the mandatory check-in. AJ and the guys there, they check your board, make sure your board's straight, put a little decal on it so it's a little easier to read your fish. They do a live captain's meeting, so you have to be there for that if you're in the Hobie event. So I think that's most of the differences. The big difference in the rule, and this is pretty important. Before and after the tournament, once practice period starts, this is in effect. So I believe it starts tomorrow. But any discussion between anglers on patterns and ways to catch the fish, what the fish are doing, any of that stuff, keep it out of the way for this tournament. Save it for the next one with your partner, because Hobie has strict rules against that information sharing. So to make Josh and Chris a perfect example, they're in a tag team. They have been for over a year now. But Chris is doing the Hobie event, and Josh is not. So unfortunately, Josh and him can't really talk strategy now.
No, I mean, I don't even plan on messaging Chris while we're on the water, because I have enough respect for him not to try and cost him any money. So I don't want to risk him being DQ'd. To jump into Michael's question there on how the tag team works, Michael, we do. So it's just that little side pot, which I saw. No, yeah, he was the one signed up with TJ, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be your team's top 5 fish count towards your score. Whoever's team takes the highest score, they win the side pot. Yeah. So like with me and Chris, we don't fish right next to each other, but we kind of talk throughout the day just to make sure we're doing all right. Just make sure you're not having a shitty day on the water, basically, not sitting there giving away all of our strategies, not giving away our spots, but we still communicate. We're a teammate. We're not going to be doing that on this event because he's in the Hobie. So I know TJ's fishing the Hobie, so Michael,
both those guys are. So
yeah. So you guys, it'll be your top 5 fish, but my recommendation is don't even talk to each other while you're on the water, because you don't want to risk somebody saying that you guys were exchanging strategies.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything different either. you upload your fish, and when you upload your fish for this tournament, it's another tip with Turkey X. You can upload to both Slay Nation and Hobie at the same time. Uh, so just try to do that. And when you do that, you just upload your best five like you're normally going to do, and turn the X sorts out the rest between you and your partner on what your best five is. We had issues with that before when we broke turning X. So Dwayne and the boys fixed that last tournament. That worked out great. So you don't have to do anything differently. Just submit your fish to both tournaments, and we will have the calculation of best five between you two. It works out pretty cool because you might have when you have a bad day and just maybe you only have one good fish that day, maybe a 19 or 20-inch fish, but you don't have anything else good that day. But your partner, that's all he needed to help you put together your best five and win that tournament. You can win some pretty good money. So
I mean, you might even end up like you look at our first tournament, Michael, on Owasco. Chris got skunked that day, but I took first place, and my fish were big enough that still beat out the other teams. So Chris at least won his money for the tournament back because I won tag team for us.
Yep. The same thing at Oneida. Forrest didn't have as good of a day, I don't think. But Bailey ended up kicking some ass out there. So Bailey and him won $200, put their money $100 each way, and they got their tournament entry fees for the two tournaments back to back and got to fish for free. So it's a pretty good way to do it. Just something fun we do on the side, and 100% payout for that. So something fun we do. But so that's the big changes on that. I haven't really looked too much at the weather for the week and the weekend, but I know it's supposed to get. I think my dad told me it's supposed to get kind of shitty Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't know, something like that. But just be safe. It's a Finger Lake, so as long as the wind is west or east wind, it's not a big deal. But if it's coming from north to south or vice versa, it can get fishy out there. So be safe out there. Make sure you got your PFDs on and all that good stuff. So just normal safety things, man, and especially on Cayuga, especially with all the traffic. I mean, just there's going to be plenty of people if you need something, around you, but still, be safe out there. Could be ugly with 120 guys out there, so plus boats. So I did have a couple people message me because most people are probably wondering why are you wearing a Hobie hat or why you got a Hobie now and you're not fishing the Hobie event. I would love to be fishing the Hobie event. I was planned on it, but
Before you hop into that, you want to go over the award stuff, Justin, or
what words?
the time, location for the awards, and what we're doing different with awards this time?
Yeah. Actually, no, we'll cover that in a minute.
Okay.
So yeah, Josh and I are not going to do the Hobie BOS. It's a weird situation because I didn't really think about it until like Monday when I messaged Josh about it, and just thinking about it. Even though we may not, we don't have to judge this tournament. We can find other judges, I'm sure. The fact is, we do. Even if we're not judging at the end of the tournament, we have the ability to go back and look at fish if we need to for verification of locations or anything like that. Um, so that could be looked at as a competitive advantage if we did have access to that on the Slay Nation side and we're fishing the Hobie event. Could cause some issues there. So a couple people brought that to my attention. I wasn't really thinking about it, but yeah, they're just looking out for me and some of the other guys because nobody wants to be in hot water. So I'm not going to fish it. Josh is not going to fish it. We're going to stay out of it. We will not be talking about fish catches in any way at the awards. Not what anybody caught them on, not where you were fishing at. I mean, if somebody sees you, they see you. There's nothing they can do about that. But it's just not something we don't want to put anybody in any weird situation with Hobie. So just be mindful of that.
We ask our guys, at the awards to be respectful of that too, and please, like, especially if you know somebody's fishing the Hobie, don't go up to them at our awards talking about how your day was. Like, you can say that you caught a 19-inch monster, but please don't be like, I caught him on this. This is the pattern. Like, the Hobie, if you're in the money, from my understanding, makes you take a lie detector test, and we
So
don't
they
want.
can, yes. I'm not sure
They
if they
can
do it
make you
every
take
event,
one.
but they
We
can,
don't
yeah.
want we don't want anybody to fail a lie detector test and get disqualified because Joe Schmo told him at the awards he was catching them on chatterbaits, and then
Yeah.
it screwed them right up. So we're trying to be as respectful to the anglers that are double dipping as possible with this event while still having our event and having a good day.
Yep. Yeah, I would love to be out there to fish with those guys because I still need my Hobie redemption. I've done 2 BOS events, get my ass kicked in both. So
I was totally looking forward to doing my first one too, but I just we don't want any of that speculation. We don't want any of that drama brought our way. We're just gonna focus strictly on slate and have a great tourney.
yeah, and it goes for the other tournaments too. We do have, just in case you don't understand this, with your Tourney X, we do have fish locations for when you catch fish. Uh, I don't have time during the tournament, and neither does Josh, to look at that. Most of the time, actually, the first 2 events we haven't even had to judge until the end of the tournament, so we have to deal with it. But if people are concerned about fish location, catches, locations, don't worry about that. We do not look at it. The only time that gets looked at is after the event to make sure that nobody was fishing at a private marina or fishing outside boundaries. So just in case anybody was wondering if that comes up. That's
And
why
then
we've been trying to find other judges too this year.
and just in case anyone else is curious on that too, when we do bring other judges in, so like last tournament we had TJ, Jake Stem, and Frankie judging for us. We have we're able to give them partial access, which literally only shows your fish. It doesn't show your catch location or anything like that, so they can't see any of that. And as Justin said, we don't even pull that up until we're home and we're on our computers and we're verifying all of the fish just to make sure you caught it in a legal space. That's why
Yep.
when we do our awards and when we make our posts, it's the unofficial results first because we have to go back through and verify everything to
Yep.
make sure everything's on the up and up. So if there's any changes that need to be made, it can happen before money's distributed.
Yep. Pretty much. Yeah, that's a good way to segment that. So, any questions on any of that, just get a hold of me or Josh. But back to the Hobie and the awards. Our awards is on Saturday. We are going to have a award ceremony at 3 o'clock at Cayuga Lake State Park. It's the same spot we've been doing it for the last 2 years. It's the famous location of Jake Stem's drone crash. So if you're there for that in 2022, same spot, the beginning of the park. We will post a GPS location of that in our Facebook group, so you know where it's at. But if you are in the Hobie event, it's not mandatory for you to go to our awards. This is the one time we're going to make an exception. Um, with the Hobie event going on, with the weather the way it is, with the fish being all over the lake like people think they're going to be, you could be fishing at the very bottom of the lake
Down in Ithaca.
and down in Ithaca, and we want you to be more concerned with what's going on with the Hobie event. You got a lot of money invested in that, so awards is not mandatory. It's recommended. We hope you can come, even if you're a little bit late. Just and just let us know you're coming. If you're in awards, that is, or in the money, that is. But if you are in the money, we always have this rule that if you're in the money, you gotta come to the awards, that we can get your trophy and all that good stuff. We are going to bypass that rule too for this event. If you are in the money, you do not have to come to the awards, but
If you're fishing
still, if you're fishing the Hobie, but you still have to contact us and let us know that you're not coming, so we can arrange a time when you do get off the water that day, because we're staying the night that night anyway at Cayuga Lake. So even if it's 7 o'clock before you can meet up with us somewhere, we will meet up with you, give you your trophy, and and take a couple good pictures, and then you can get out of there.
Now, if you are not going to be able to make, because we are shutting standings off, just like we did for the last tournament, we decided moving forward to build the dispense, we're going to keep shutting standings off at 1 o'clock so that you don't know until awards who's in the money, who's not in the money. It builds up that anticipation better. But with that being said, if you are fishing the Hobie and you think you have a shot at being in the money and you cannot make the awards, you need to send Justin or myself a message so we know what's going on. And then we can tell you, hey, you're in the money. Please meet up with us at such and such or whenever you can tonight. We're staying right at the campgrounds. We'll work it out, even if we've got to drive halfway to you or something.
Yep.
We'll make it work so that you can get your prizes. We can get the picture, and then we can get you right back to wherever you're staying to rest up for day 2 of the Hobie. because we want a Slayer to win it.
No doubt about that. So, I want a New Yorker to win it, but I more importantly want a New Yorker that's one of our members to win it. So that would be cool to see, Chris Nielsen. Obviously, I'm rooting for Chris. It's probably not a secret. I'm rooting for this dude, but Chris and Brandon, George that are doing, and those guys, Bailey. I want to see them do well, and show out on the home pond. So that's pretty much all I had to cover, man. I just wanted to cover some of those things quick with everybody. Make sure everybody's aware of the different rules. If you are fishing the Hobie event, please send our link or tell your friends about our event. Get them to sign up. It would be awesome to see 50 people in our event. So
I'd love to beat our Civil War numbers. I think we could do it.
yeah, if we're gonna do it, this would be the time to do it, and it'd be cool to see people like Sisto and Mike and all these guys, maybe Christine or Drew Gregory if he's coming, or somebody like that coming from long ways away, coming all the way up here, jump in our event and win it. That'd be pretty cool to see that. So
even if we hit 40 people, if you take first place, you more than double the money you just spent between the Hobie and Slay Nation.
yeah. All right, man. Well, that's all I had to come on and say. I just want to make sure people are ready for practice, ready for the Hobie event. This is the last day to sign up for the Hobie event before they increase the price. So get signed up for the Hobie event. Get signed up for the Slay Nation event on Cayuga.
You have until 10 p.m. next Friday to sign up for ours.
Yep. So get signed up for those. Do the tag team. If you're doing the tag team, or you already signed up and you want to do the tag team, send me a message or Josh, and you can PayPal us the $10 and get back into it. It's pretty fun doing the tag team side pot. So, all right, man. Good luck to everybody out there. Be safe on the water. Good luck in your practice. There's gonna be a lot of big ass fish caught. So take some pictures, take some videos, save those for after the tournament, and you can send those to Josh and myself, and maybe I'll put together a little compilation video of some kind. Before our next event. So, what is our next event after this, Josh? Do you recall? Is it Tupper Lake?
You may be right. I got it right here. After this, yep, Tupper Lake on June 22nd.
Yeah, so we got a 3-week break after this.
We did it that way so everyone can have opening weekend of bass to fish whatever lakes they want to fish, their home lakes, whatever it is they want to do, or come up here and pre-fish that weekend for Tupper the following week.
So not Saturday. It's a really shitty day that it works out this year is that opening day bass is on Sunday of that weekend, the weekend before, so not Saturday. So if you're going to pre-fish Tupper Lake, you got to do it on the Sunday before. It's just the way it is. Tupper Lake and St. Lawrence County, or Franklin County and Jefferson County with our fishing rules up here. But bass fishing season is going to be open just a couple weeks, boys. So it's a good time to get out there. Everybody's going to be catching some big ones. Josh did remind me of something when I got on the live stream with him before we went live. Make sure that you have your New York fishing license and it's valid for this event. Coming out from Pennsylvania, people are coming from out of state. If you're coming from out of state, you have to get a temporary, 7-day license or whatever it is. And if you're a New Yorker, like Josh, who runs out on the day of Cayuga, renew that thing.
I went ahead and renewed mine today just to make sure that I didn't forget before the event. You can do it right online, and then the new one, for those, I'm sure everybody knows, but just in case you don't, the new one will take effect the day your other one expires. So it's not like you're losing any time by renewing it early. Your one you have now will go till it expires, and then the new one takes effect right on that day so that you don't have to worry about running out.
Yep. Oh, I did have one more thing to go over is identifier. So I've had a couple questions about identifier. Hobie has their own identifier. I think I have one handy. Yeah. So Hobie will give you something like this. This is the one from Sandy Cooper. They have some kind of ID that they give you, and then on day 2, they'll have you something where you actually get to write it in on day 2. But you'll get something like this at the Hobie event. For us, we don't care what you use. I don't care if you write it on the back of your hand. I don't care if you write it on whatever you write it on. Don't write it on the Hobie ID card, whatever our code is, because we don't want any issues with that. Use their ID card. And if you're in the Hobie event, just make it easy on yourself. If you don't have a double identifier set up, plug it on your hand, the hand that's in the picture.
The only thing I'm going to say with that is if you put it on your hand and it ends up being like a crappier day, like weather-wise, to where you have to wear a jacket,
Make sure it's
make sure
legible.
your sleeve is pulled up, because we have
Oh,
to
that's
see
true.
all the numbers on that identifier, or else we have to DQ your fish.
Yeah. Just make sure you get your identifier straight for the Hobie event and for our event. Whatever way you need to, just get that identifier on there. So make sure you read the rules. Our PDF with the rules in it is attached to our Attorney Acts. Hobie rules are out there on their website and their Facebook group. If you're not familiar, I really highly suggest you go through those rules because a lot changed in the last couple of years, even this year. So, all right, man, that's all I had to say. I just want to make sure everybody's ready. I wish I could fish it with you guys, but one of you guys go win that for us and make Slay Nation proud and represent us well. Anything else left to say, Josh? You ready? Good?
I think we covered everything. We'll anything we missed, we'll hit next week in the captain's meeting.
Yep. All right, Slayers, we'll see you next week. Friday, 7 p.m., 7:30, somewhere in there. We will be live for the captain's meeting from Cayuga Lake. I don't know where I'll be in the lake, probably right in the state park. So
We're going to be
we'll
camping there Friday and Saturday, so any Slayers want to hang out, just come see us.
Yep. We'll be camping out there and doing some hanging out by the fire, cooking up some burgers and dogs and all that good stuff. So if you're hungry and need some food, stop on by. We might even feed you. Might even get if you're real lucky, you get the German hot dogs. Right, Josh?
You're the only one with an issue with them, bud.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You never know. So, all right, man. Have a good one. Everybody have fun this weekend. Be safe on the water. Go catch some big fish. Take it easy,
Later,
guys.
guys. Tight lines.